Yes.
You see, in Himachal Pradesh, the revenue that is generated comes from electricity. That is the major source of income in Himachal Pradesh. And it has been a history in our state that the construction workers have gone through a lot of pain. And the pain is generated, this genesis is from the exploitation that takes place by the contractors. And those contractors manage this work by going in a league with a part of the bureaucracy and also influential people, which includes the ruling party politicians. So this nexus of the contractors, the companies, a part of the bureaucracy, and the ruling party politicians, this clique is doing the exploitation, not from today, but from the day Hydel projects had started being constructed in Himachal Pradesh. We go back in the history. Then there are many martyrs who have been there, who have, for the stopping the exploitation of the workers. You had martyr in Chamera 3, where 3 of the workers' leaders, Babu Ram, Dhan Singh and Vijay, a blind murder took place. Blind murder. In the middle of the night, their bodies were thrown. And unfortunately, because it was a blind murder, those accused were allowed to go scot-free. This was not the only one. This, in the Parvati project in 2003, one of the leaders of the workers who was working in the Gaiman project, he was attacked at midnight. And he was beaten up so badly that he was admitted, but he could not survive in the hospital. He died on 21st of June. This happened in 2003. And he was attacked by whom? He was attacked by the contractors. And that same contractor has come in this project, this which is called the Shongton Kacham project. The Shongton Kacham project is a 450 megawatt project where approximately 900 workers are working. But the management there, which is Patel Engineering, and also there are 21 contractors. All those contractors and the Patel Engineering are refusing to abide by the law. What law? You know there's a law that whoever is employed, you have to give an appointment letter. But these contractors and the company have not provided an appointment letter. And you know very well that the law says that after each month, you have to give a wage slip of the amount of days he has worked, and you have to incorporate everything in the wage slip, the amount of wages, the kind of nature of work that he is carrying on, the amount of days he has undertaken, the amount of overtime that he has undergone, and also the holidays on which he has worked, and then you totally compute the wages that he should get end of the month. This wage slip is not being provided. You are deducting the PF of the workers. On 3 occasions, the Provident Fund department has gone to that project, but the management has failed to supply the record of the deductions that you are doing. You are not providing the evidence to the workers whether this amount is being deposited with the Provident Fund Commissioner or not. And apart from that, you have also not deducting the wages of the Provident Fund of 475 workers. This is what is legally any management is bound to do. And you will be shocked to learn that 106 days are over, but this government and the department of the government, the labor department, the other administration are failing to implement this. Why it is being done? This is being done to fill the coffers of the company, fill the coffers of the thekedars, make them rich, and let the poor workmen die. That's why this morcha has been brought here. In between, the High Court, the petition was filed before the Honorable High Court of Himachal Pradesh. We are happy to learn that the Honorable Himachal Pradesh High Court has given a direction to the District Commissioner that he should intervene, convene the meeting of the workers and the management and try to resolve the issues. But unfortunately, instead of adopting this method, the police administration of Kannauр, it gave protection to that fellow who was the main guilty in the Ashok murder case in 2003. He has taken anti-social elements to the project with the intention of breaking the strike, with the intention of continuing the exploitation. We, the people of the CITU, are determined that we will not allow this exploitation to take place. We will bring this exploitation to the end. We also want to appeal to the consciousness of the Himachal Pradesh government that please don't adopt such methods. This is a democratic country. This is a free country. This is a free India. This is not that India which was ruled by the Britishers. This is an India which is ruled by the Indians itself. Therefore, please abide by the law, the Constitution of India, which everyone is bound to abide by. For that, we are continuing this kind of an indefinite fast, which we will do until the demands are fulfilled.
So a small doubt when you when you were speaking about the contractual labours.
Yes.
So this contractual labours, what is the difference between the other contractual labours and the Hydel Park contractual labours? Because normally all contractual labours have a demand that they don't get PF and ESI and the salary slips and all. So in Hydel project, and when you were also referring to some murders took place in the Hydel Park. So I'm not getting the gist of how different the contract labour in Hydel Park and how different the contract labours outside that.
You see, you are well aware that after the neoliberal policies came into this country, after 1991, the regular work has been outsourced. Now today you have a larger number of unorganized workers in the shape of contract workers, outsourced workers, who are not directly the workers of the principal employer. You see, in this project, the principal employer is the Himachal Pradesh Power Corporation. It is actually the Himachal Pradesh Power Corporation should have recruited workers, but they didn't recruit workers. What did they do? They asked the Patel Engineering to do the construction work.
What is that, Patel Engineering?
Patel Engineering is one of the old companies.
Okay.
And they have their head office in Bombay. It is a company as old as the Gaimans. And this is Patel Engineering Private Limited. Now, they are also not doing the whole work. They have just recruited some 400 workers. What they have done is 21 on record subcontractors have been recruited. And apart from the 21 subcontractors, there are many, many more subcontractors who are fictitious, who do not exist on the record. These are 21, only those contractors who have employed more than 20 workers. Less than 20, the law says that you don't have to have a license for that. This is the unfortunate part. The Modi government wants to change the law now and bring a law that no license is required anymore for any work. So actually this kind of a contract worker is the most exploited worker. He's the most exploited. And everyone wants to exploit him. And therefore he has no choice but to join those organizations which can give him protection, form such unions, and which can fight collectively. But here what happened? Since 2013, attempts were being made by the workers and the workers' union to get the demands implemented. In 2013, on 14 September, a demand notice was served on the Patel Engineer Company demanding implementation of the law. What did the Patel Engineering do? The Patel Engineering terminated the services of 6 workmen, 4 I know, in which the president of the union, the general secretary of the union, and 2 members of the executive committee, they were terminated. And one of the workers, his name is Somdev, had to commit suicide. He jumped into the Satluj river. After all attempts to get back on job were not allowed to him, he had to jump into the river. So this is not a new question. This is an old question. Therefore, the contract worker is a worker who is the most exploited, and somehow tacit approval is also given by the agencies of the government. That's why these companies are able to do this exploitation. Therefore, and that is why they earn millions, and the workers, poor workers, are left with no money to provide bread to their family members.
So one thing I was told even in your public meeting today morning,
Yes.
you were talking about murders and one thing about tunnel blasting.
Yes, yes, yes.
And then I also heard that it is protected by CSF area. That area, Hydropower project is protected by CSF. Nobody can enter into that to see the workers' conditions. So could you talk about that?
You see, CISF works under certain provisions of law. But here, you have worse than the CISF. The hoodlums of the management run the roost. It is worse, you see, where the central industrial security force is there, it functions under some rules. But these hoodlums of the companies, they have no rules. Once a workman goes inside, he ensures that neither he can come out and neither is he allowed to raise his voice. That's why you see, since 2013 this thing was taking place. That is why one of the important leaders committed suicide. That is why the CITU has now stepped in defense of the workers. So this part. The other part is that, you see, if we go into the history of hydro projects here, it is not once murders took place. The leaders of the workers are being threatened and murdered, and an atmosphere is being created in which fear is created that if you organize, then this will happen. Like we killed 3 main leaders in the Chamera, we killed 1 leader in Parvati, Ashok, we killed 1 leader in Natwa Dhakdi, his name was Devdutt. So they create this fear psychosis by killing the leaders so that no one can organize the workers. This is the methodology that these big companies, which are actually construction mafias, these are construction mafias in the name of companies, they use such method, and they use this similar kind of method in this Kacham hydro project also. Now the question is, the tunnel, what you're talking, because now you have that new kinds of hydro projects which are on the river run projects. You don't have damming, you have just dam of the river, on the run river. So you have to construct a tunnel. So this is underground work. The underground work is very dangerous. All poisonous gases are there, and therefore you have to give a wage higher than the wage which you get from outside work. Therefore, this wage is not being given for underground work. This is being avoided. And the methodology of calculating it, they are not calculating it on correct basis, so that they have to give less, though the management are required to give more. This is also a new form of exploitation that is taking place. And not only that, underground work is a very dangerous work. Whether it is road work, whether it's of hydro projects, or any kind of underground work that goes in for well excavation, oil excavation, or tunnel excavation, the loose is bound to fall. And here the companies who begin the work faster, they do not adhere to the rules. Large-scale blasting is done. That large-scale blasting creates danger for the workers also, and it creates dangers for the people who live outside, the villagers, the farmers. If you go into the history of Himachal Pradesh, from day one, whether it's Chamera, whether it is Parvati, whether it is any Rampur project, or whether it is Natwa Jhakri project, or whether it is the Shongtan Kacham project, or whether it is the Kacham Shongtan project, on all the projects, the villagers of the adjacent areas, their whole land has been damaged. The whole land has got washed, not washed away, but got destroyed. But no compensation is given to them. So this is another question which we are also not able to raise through this, because here we are concentrating only on the workers' demand, but this is also a reality that is taking place in Himachal Pradesh.
The last one question. It's so amazing to find workers' strike since 2013 in an area where it's a very remote area, which newspapers doesn't cover, news media doesn't cover. You don't have awareness creation outside that area. So how was it possible to mobilize? How do they mobilize and survive? That is quite amazing because I know some places of CSF areas where Hydel thing is going. You can't even find a movement. They don't allow people.
You see, this is an unfortunate part. But I must give a balanced answer for this. You see, where you have big corporates, you had JP. He has a lot of construction projects here in cement as well as Hydel. Though now it's sold because this JP, he has become a willful defaulter of the banks. The Reserve Bank of India has declared him so. 4,500 crores he has not paid. So these corporate houses are able to gag the press also. They are able. It is not the reporter who does it, but it is the editorial boards, the owners of these newspapers. You know that in India, the newspaper itself are owned by the corporate houses. So they have some kind of a fraternity relationship. The corporate houses are constructing the project. There are certain newspapers, and though the reporter reports it, but then a blackout is carried out by the editorial board. This is unfortunate because in a democratic country, the voice of the people should always be reflected in through newspapers, through the electronic media, through other ways. But unfortunately, this is happening. And for that, a broader movement needs to be created. I would not blame any reporter for it, but it is correct. All the news regarding the exploitation that is taking place, the law that is not being implemented, is not being brought out in the press, it's an unfortunate part, but then nothing can be done. We have to adopt other methods so that the voice of the people can be heard.
But how do they mobilize there inside CSF with so much pressure? How is that laborers were able to mobilize?
You see, you understand one thing, where there will be a contradiction between capital and labor. Whatever methods you may adopt to stop the voice of the labor, new methods